Hi, I'm just going to share something with you today. Some of what I know about developing a high performing team. This particular tool I learnt years ago at a leadership development course. You go on these courses, you spend days doing them, your company pays for them. 80% of what you learn, you're never going to use. This was a little gem that I picked up. Very simple, but very effective. So I'm just going to utilise my whiteboard here and draw a bit of a graph. As I said, very simple. Along here we've got time, which I'll just mark off as T. Up here we've got our performance level out of 100%. So when we go into a new organisation, or we take charge of a new team, or a new team forming together, generally red's our motivation. Generally our motivation level and the motivation of the group is quite high. You know, we're a new team coming together, we're ready to perform, we've got these goals set out in the future for us and we're ready to achieve them. So we start flying off at 100% motivation. What we quite often don't realise is even those individuals or particular individuals in the team might have high skill levels. As a team, our skill levels are quite low. So they're down here. And we start working together, we start doing things, you get the office sorted out or you get the machinery sorted out and your skill levels start rising up here. And then as everyone that's tried done any project work or tried a new venture of any sort, because your skill level's low, because you're a new group of people, there might be personality clashes within the group. You hit a failure. There might be a failure as a group, failure as an individual in a group, or a leadership failure. You hit that failure, and then your motivation starts to die off. And what it looks like on the graph is your motivation as time goes on, it drops off down like this quite rapidly. As that's happening, the good news is the skill level of the group and of the individuals in the group is still rising. And it's still going up, even though their motivation level's down here. So as leaders, it's our job to recognise when our team's in this zone, where we are along this line, and recognise when that motivation level's dropped off, both in our individuals in the team and as a group. And it's our job to get that motivation to turn around. Look, if I've got some experience around doing that as well. PM me if you want to know some techniques around doing that, but I'll just stick to this for now. So what happens is motivation starts going up, your skill level continues going up, and you move into this area here where your skill level gets up, and for argument's sake this time we'll say it achieves 100%, and your motivation follows it as time goes along. And it goes up, and there you go. That's where high-performing teams live, in this point here, where their motivation and their skill level meets. They've got high motivation, high skill levels. So as a leader, you want your team moving down this way as rapidly as possible to achieve results. Invariably, when I go into a new organisation and I'll hear all the stories about the team and they're not performing and things aren't going right and we've hit hurdles with them and they're just a bad work group, they're living this side of this line. They're living in here. And in here, what happens, if you don't turn that motivation round, you get turnover and you lose skills. So your skills drop back down here. So what happens is teams tend to bounce between this point here and this point here. The majority of teams, and you can look in the workplace right now, in your business right now, you'll find that you've got teams that are bouncing in here. And this is due to, it could be poor leadership. In fact, I guess I'm saying it is due to poor leadership. You need to recognise that your team is here, where the skill levels are, and it's your job as a leader to get them moving this way. And keep them on this side of the line. All teams need to go through this process. High performing teams like in high level sporting teams, they move very quickly through this phase. So they'll get together, their leaders recognise where they are, they move very, very quickly through this phase here and live in this phase here if they're successful. As a leader as well, you need to understand that you are responsible for your motivation level, you're even responsible for your skill levels, and you need to be moving these quickly. No one's going to come along as a leader, and particularly if you're running your own business, no one's going to come along and give you a pat on the back. No one's there going to look after you. So you need to make sure you're maintaining a high motivation and you're getting your skill levels moving up and you're analysing your team and you're driving them this way along this graph. As I said, it's a very simple tool. I like it. I've used it successfully many times myself to get teams down this end. As I said, when I get into a new organisation, it's just one of the templates I overlay on my team to see where they are at, to see where I'm at, see where they're at a team and where they're at as individuals. As I said before, guys, any questions, any specific examples you want addressed, please PM me. More than happy to help out. And that's it. All right, I'll talk to you later.